Hello and welcome to today's video. This time we'll be having a look through a few issues of Bare Bones magazine along with a brand new one called The Wild World of Two-Fisted Detective Mystery and Terror Digests by Peter Infantino. So sit back, relax and let's get to it. Okay then, so I've been meaning to get into Bare Bones for quite some time. I put a couple on my Christmas list and thankfully, I had a couple sent over by one of the editors, Peter Infantino. So, really grateful for those. So, thank you, Peter. So, I think what we'll do, we'll start with Bare Bones first of all. And I got a couple of back issues. And then we've got one of the more recent publications, which is like a best of Bare Bones. And what I did want to sort of do first of all is give you a little bit about Peter and John Scolari, I think is how you pronounce it, Scolari. And they actually have their origin, you could say. Here they both are. They've been friends an awful long time. That was them in 1989 together, and there they are in 2010. And well, they're still working together in 2023. So a bit of a lifelong friendship there. And they go into detail in this one, which is the best of Bare Bones, about how it came about. But I did ask Peter if he wouldn't mind sending me a bit of a more potted history, just for me to read out a sort of a why we did it. So he says, "Hi Jules, there's a complete why we did it in the best of Bare Bones that you got for Christmas, which was that we've just looked at there. But a short economical history would be John and I co-edited a fairly successful small press magazine called The Scream Factory for nearly 10 years, but bad distribution and late paying dealers killed that in 1997. John and I wanted to do a Bare Bones magazine filled with things we liked. This would be a more eclectic journal as opposed to the Scream Factory, which covered horror fiction and film. The first incarnation of Bare Bones lasted 6 issues. That was 1997 to 2001, before we lost interest. In 2008, we resurrected the title Bare Bones for a blog covering some of the genres we write about in the print zine. When Amazon Print on Demand came along several years ago, we thought it would be a good time to reintroduce the print version of Bare Bones, and it's been extremely successful so far. John has launched his Cimarron Street Books imprint and publishes several best-selling authors such as David J. Shaw, Duane Shawisky, and John Farris. And I've recently launched my Sleaze Alley imprint, published under the Cimarron Street umbrella, to showcase such publications as the Crime Digest of the 1950s and the forthcoming Shudder Pulps. There we are. So thanks for that, Peter. That's a really good little introduction. I have read the Manhunt Companion by Peter Infantino. That's the American Crime Digest, which I absolutely love, but very difficult to find those over here. So let's start with looking through my earliest issue, which is number 13. Now, I'm not 100% sure if this is the earliest one you can actually get off Amazon, but I am going to try and go back and fill in all the gaps in my collection. And this one's got a look at the Claude Allison books. Those are 0008 books, which were all the rage. And first of all, I really like the format of it. It's this A5, I would think, and they do feel good in the hand. They've got a shiny, glossy cover. As Peter mentions, they are print on demand, and the little telltale sign is the little print on demand barcode at the back there. But so what? I mean, this is just fantastic, in my opinion. What a way to get some of this stuff out. So in this one, which was winter 2023, for this one, number 13. So it was best part of a year ago now. That's the list there, the contents list, and the two editors there, Peter and John, layout by John, and then a list of there must be a dozen writers there with artwork as well. So pretty good. And then dedicated to a few people who passed away in 2023, including Raquel Welch. And well, we'll have a little look through so you get sort of the idea of it. So there's plenty to read here. It's not all visual. It's not packed with photographs at all. There's really great articles, and it's almost like sort of with the two columns. I feel it's more like a Reader's Digest in a way, but for the stuff that we love. So if you're a fan of this channel, we love sort of great 40s, 50s, 60s pulps, and we love the digest, and we definitely love the paperbacks. These are, authors are analysed, titles, series are analysed. This I found particularly fascinating. I didn't really know much about this. I like both Archie Goodwin and Walt Simonson. So didn't know anything about this Manhunter one. It's a take on the 60s Manhunter character, of course. Stuff on Digest, of course, which I guess is one of Peter's expertise. Michael Shane on the screen. Then a little article here about David Goodis, really, really great writer. That was sort of his famous one, wasn't it? Dark Passage. There's on that lovely Dell map back. And that was adapted into a movie with Humphrey Bogart and Lauren Bacall, which I've never actually seen that one. But David Goodis, I have read a couple by him, and they're excellent. Marvel. This was it 70s? Yeah, 70s zombie Tales of the Zombie. Look at that, the cover by Boris Vallejo. At least that's how I pronounce his name. One of those short-lived Marvel magazines. They were so good, weren't they, in the 1970s? My favourite, of course, being Savage Sword of Conan, which I believe is due for quite a nice reprint fairly soon in one of those massive editions. It's Caroline Munro. She was quite a regular at some of the shows I used to go to in the 90s. Here's the look at the allure of 0008. These books are rare. I'm telling you that now. In fact, I don't think I've ever seen one in the UK. I've never ever come across one. They do occasionally turn up on eBay, and the books tend to go for about $50 a pop, if you can believe it. They're very much of their time. I haven't got a single one in my collection. I've never ever come across one either. But very, very collectible. There's the full list of them there. Yeah, 65 to 68 they're published. I've got some books by Clyde Allison in Nightstand in another little collection, but none of those, sadly. David Chow. King Kong there. We've known a lot about Kong lately. And here's a little potted biography of each of the contributors to this issue here. So Peter there, co-author of the Manhunt Companion, which I really enjoyed that one. That was published by Stark House, amazingly, 2021. Obsessive collector of mystery, crime, and horror digests. So anyways, some good names there, some absolutely good names that have contributed to this issue. So I think, coming in at over 100 pages here. Here's some of the back issues. So it does say certain issues have sold out, others are limited. I'm not sure what they're going to make available through Amazon, but that's certainly the easiest way, particularly if you're not in America, to get the issues sent is by print on demand. So there we go. That was number 13. And that was from winter 2023. Now let's have a look at the next standalone issue I got, which is number 17. Unearthing vintage, forgotten and overlooked horror, mystery, sci-fi, westerns, weird film, paperbacks, comics, pulp fiction, and video. Now this is, I think, the latest issue because this came out winter 2024. So chances are there may well be one in the pipeline. Same sort of format and write-up, similar writers involved here. And we'll have a zoom through these. And what I'll do, as each of these new issues comes out, I'll make sure I feature it in my sort of monthly pickups video. So I'll sort of get these ordered each time. I have to admit, I haven't worked my way through all 4 magazines cover to cover yet. But there's some good stuff in it. I really like the original Fugitive TV series. And I remember getting a copy of that from my friend George, who's a big fan, in the 90s. But I haven't got a copy myself. Yeah, that was a pocket cardinal with that great jacket. Craig Stevens in Man of the World. One of the great Network series, which it's a shame Network have gone down now, haven't they? The specialist DVD and Blu-ray company released some really great stuff. Nostradamus. All started with a comic crusader. Randall Larson's early origins. Look at that, the early days of fandom. I can sympathise. When I was young, I did a Doctor Who fanzine when I was at school. Released a few issues of that one. There they all are. Writer by many other names. 4 paperback originals of Martin H. Albert. Albert Conroy. As you can see, there really is, a substantial amount to read. It's not all just, illustrations. There's plenty to really get you sort of stuck into. Beware Dangerous Men, a 6-pack of Hitch, Part 3. Looking at issues of Alfred Hitchcock's mystery magazine. I've seen these around. In fact, Morris at Zardoz Books, All You Need Is Books, has got probably a couple of hundred in stock as we speak right now. And they are filled with, well, exactly that, mystery magazine. Interesting to see some of the ratings that Peter's given them here out of 5. So none of them really exceptional by the looks of it. I've got a 4. And there's a little advert for the one we're going to have a look at in a minute, which is a digest specific one. This is a field guide to the LA Pulp, a sunny side for shady people. It's just like a little travel guide here with places to go and visit. Sleaze Alley. Some vintage sleaze being reviewed. Some nightstand ones. I got some of these. I mean, they're hilarious. The jackets and that on them these days, aren't they? Caroline Munro again. Look at that. Bats in the Belfry. Action toy. Yeah, I bet that's a few pounds these days, or a few dollars even. What a great toy. There we are. So that was number 17. Put my goo in there. Now we have got one more. So that was the 2 individual issues, and then we've got this best of. Now, I'm not going to go through every single page on this one, but just so you have a look. So I'm not sure if this is the best from the ashes of the Scream Factory, Bare Bones, 1997 to 2001. From 2001, unearthed some of the best vintage and forgotten paperbacks, films, pulp fiction, television, and video. So loads of original articles that have been pulled together from the really earliest years. So I would imagine that they'll be able to do like a couple of volumes of this till they've got fully up to date. Sort of thing I think Justin Marriott could probably do with the Paperback Fanatic magazine, because there's a lot of good stuff in there that would be nice to see reprinted. Richard Stark books. Great author. 2001. What's this? Yeah. I actually really enjoyed Payback. The movie especially. I thought it was brilliant, Really, really great. Kitten on the cover. As you can see, there's loads to get your teeth stuck into here. This is not a quick read. This is really, you may not be interested in all of it, but at least you know that pretty much everything you're going to be looking at is sort of related to what you might enjoy. The old Saturn magazine there with starred reviews again. Yes, the Dracula books. Once again, rarely see those over here. Cornell Woodrich. Richard Prather. Yeah, some good stuff in here. And this is, yeah, best part, 250 pages in there. So once again in the A5 format, really, really easy to hold in the hand, these. So yeah, looks pretty darn good, that. There's lots in there. I've still to read, but this last one here is, I think, the more recent publication. This one's just Peter's work, and it's his reviews of various digests. There he is in his collection there. Look at that. Yes, I bet there's some interesting stuff on those shelves. Now, it's funny with digests because, you don't you do see them over here, but they're usually ridiculous money. The ones that you do find are usually in terrible condition, but that doesn't stop you wanting to read them. So I think there's the very cream of the crop, digest wise, I think has been reprinted, and I know they've been doing Manhunt compilations. There's about 3 of those now, and they're the ones that I've got. Rather than buying the original ones, the only thing is, I don't think there's a lot of science fiction getting reprinted. I think a lot of it was already pulled together into anthologies to begin with. But even so, I like the format of these. So Peter will choose a title. This is Saturn Web Detective Stories. A little bit about that particular pulp, and then he'll go through each issue with the page length, the titles, the author, and he'll give it a rating out of 5. And I think it's a really good format to work with. Here's some of the original issues there. Saturn Web Detective Stories. See, the crime ones I really am not familiar with. Most of the science fiction ones I've at least had a look through them, and I've had some through my hands. But the crime ones, it was such a massive genre, and I don't really remember having any like that. So it's interesting, even if I'm not going to collect them, it's interesting to see what was out there and who was writing for them. You get all sorts of big names who just, were turning in stories to make ends meet. This is a Web Terror Stories, this one. And some of these were very short lived. They only had a few issues and then they went belly up because they weren't getting the readers. Other times they really they went on for years and years and years. Like Manhunt, for example, which did go on for a long, long time. But you can see if you like these like little potted sort of summaries, which I do, you can really get into these, And just look at the great jackets. They're fantastic, aren't they? Yeah, certainly not something that you see a lot of in the UK, but this is a little window into that world. And save you buying the originals. I'm sure some of these have been reprinted, or if you look around hard enough, you might be able to find the odd scan or two of the odd issue. But usually there's quite a few best ofs dotted around. Best of the pulps. Now I'm imagining these are all pulled from Peter's own collection. And he's said to have read them and reviewed them. Two-fisted. Sounds like an EC, doesn't it? Two-fisted detective stories. Southern Barge, something new. The Short Life of Terror Detective. Yeah, Terror Detective. So this, once again, one of those very short-lived ones by the look of it. And a lot of this pulp stuff you do find in like massive compilations, don't you, online? So it might be worth a little look online. And there we are. Then there's the author index, so you can see who wrote what and where it was printed. Really nice format. That is good, particularly for an area. If you don't know a lot about the pulps, it's quite a nice way, and the digest, quite a nice way to sort of dip your toe into that area, really. So there we go. So, well, I hope you've enjoyed that little look through these issues of Bare Bones and this one, the Wild World of Two-Fisted Detective Mystery and Terror Digest. That's a bit of a mouthful, isn't it? Certainly, there's some good stuff in there if you're looking for, a really sort of meaty read about some of the areas that we absolutely love. Thanks to Peter for sending over a couple of copies for me to review, and thanks to my sister for buying me a couple for Christmas. She's a good egg, really. If you've enjoyed today's video, do please give it that thumbs up. I'll put links to all these issues of Bare Bones and this one as well in the description down below. So if you want to check it out and buy these off Amazon or check out the official website, those links will be in the description. Do give them your support. Thanks very much for watching today. If you're not already, do please hit that subscribe button, and I'll see you again very soon. Bye.